They say that breaking up is hard to do. Oh crap, I'm on camera. Okay, put the crap down. Hey, what's up, guys? Why do couples take breaks? Oh, why do couples take breaks? I'm gonna give you some stats today that are gonna blow your mind in terms of why certain personality styles like to hop in and out of relationships, and long-term commitment for them is scary. Stay tuned. So why do some people need to take breaks? We're gonna find out when we talk about personality styles in this next graphic. Outgoing folks and reserved folks. So when I talk about this outgoing personality style, these folks are fast-paced, involved, energetic, optimistic, positive, enthusiastic. Woo! Take the leg by the tail, just sling it around and throw it somewhere. When conflict comes along, however, though, they focus on talking things out. Hey, Alicia, how are you? Hey, can I help you? Can I help you? Hey, you good? You good? You good? You good? You good? And she wants to slap my hand away. And so if she's more a reserved person, she's going to be a little bit slower paced. Now, that doesn't mean she works slowly. That means just she's slow to act or get engaged because she wants to think things through before she speaks. So they're cautious folks. They're concerned. They're reluctant, critical thinkers, and always discerning. And when conflict comes along for them, they focus on thinking things through. Should I? Nope. But don't have all the facts yet. And that's their mentality. All right, so where are you on that scale of outgoing versus reserved? If you're outgoing, kind of remember that I'm towards the top of the screen. If you're reserved, you're more towards the bottom of the screen. We're going to divide you into people person, or if you're more of a task-oriented person. People-oriented folks are all about caring and sharing in relationships and emotions and feelings and friendships. They focus on the opinions of others and how they feel. So we tend to be pretty emotional, and I am very much a people-oriented person. I'm an emotional guy. You know, I cried during the movie Frozen. Nobody does that, but I did because my daughter was there, and she's gonna have a boyfriend one day and get married. And she said, "Pull it together, Dad." Anyway, because she's more of a task-oriented person. She's all about procedure and function and forms and programs and processes and analytics. She focuses on getting things done at the end of the day. So now you're finding yourself on the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen, and you're on the left side or right side. So let's define a little bit about what each one of these quadrants mean. So we've got these outgoing, task-oriented people. We're going to call you high Ds, or dominant styles. Never met a challenge you couldn't face, love to be in charge, take charge mentality. Then we've got our outgoing and people-oriented folks. Those are our inspiring styles. We're going to call you high Is. Just love influencing others, oozing charisma all the time, just like to be in and around people. You're all about having fun. And then we have our supportive styles. Those are our reserved and people-oriented. Kind folks, make super friends. They're great listeners, give you the shirt off their back. They're just wonderful people and the glue of any organization. And then we have our high Cs, which are our reserved and task-oriented people. These folks are analytical. They are, think about accountants, lawyers, doctors, those kind of people who are just high-level thinkers. These people are the E.F. Hutton of the disc world. If you remember the old commercial, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. That's right, people listen. So C's don't really say a whole lot most times, but when they do, they've really thought through what they have to say, and it's usually like, oh, pretty epic in terms of the results of that. Now, we're all a unique blend of these four traits. So we all have a little bit of D, a little bit of I, a little bit of S, and a little bit of C, some in more categories than others. I'm an IS. You know, my I is really, really high, my S is really high, and then everything else kind of falls towards the bottom of the scale. So why do some people in relationships need to take breaks? Well, we're going to take a look at personality styles today and dive into that question a little more closely. When it comes to spontaneity versus stability, certain styles are predisposed. D's and I's like to change things up quite a bit. S's and C's, same as good. Don't change things on them too much. So now let's take a look at the percentages of the population as they relate to personality styles, and you're going to find out some interesting things about you and potentially your partner. So what percentage of the population does each style represent? Well, if we look, we'll have our D's at 10%. 10% of the population, the smallest percentage. And it's usually this time during the video where I stop and take a little moment to say a little prayer and Thank God that there's only 10% of the population that are IDs, because they are seriously on fire about execution and getting things done. Then we look at our I's. Our I's are 25 to 30% of the population. The fun people, the people that bring the creativity and the spontaneity into the world. Then our biggest percentage belongs to our high S's. S's at 30 to 35% of the population. Those folks who love harmony, the peacemakers. We love our high S's. Now, if you would, take a moment to imagine a world where we switch the D and the S. If D's were 30% of the population and those S's were only 10%, what kind of world would that be? We'd be on like World War XVII by now, because there's just too many people trying to be in charge. So there's a balance there. So 10% on those D's, and thank God, 30 to 35% on those S's. And then our C's, those analytical folks, 20 to 25% of the population. So your accountants, your lawyers, rocket science, engineers, all those people live in that C world. Thankfully, we have a lot of those folks because they bring order to the chaos of some of those other styles. So up to 60% of the population likes sameness. They like stability. They don't like change. So those are your S's and C's. So from that perspective, they could stay in a relationship 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and not think twice about it. It's very comforting for them. D and an I, on the other hand, they are just going to be 20 years. How about 2 weeks? Let's get through the next 2 weeks first. 3 months? Are you kidding me? So anniversaries for them are really hard because they need to seek out other people, but just simply for the fact they like change. It's not that they don't like the person that they're with. They just embrace change. They need change. They have to have interaction with others. A lot of times we find this is a problem when it comes to interacting from a relationship standpoint from date night. D's and I's enjoy date night, that's fine, but they need to get energy from other people. So in the long-term spectrum of the relationship, D's and I's have lots of acquaintances, lots of people they like to go enjoy doing things with, whether it be board game groups, church, golfing, volleyball, whatever it happens to be. They like doing lots of things and doing lots of things with different people. They gain energy from that. Those S's and C's, though, are much more reserved and don't have as many acquaintances. They have a few close friendships that they value very much. So if you're in a relationship with an S or a C, they're going to be dependent on you to provide that piece of the puzzle in terms of interactivity, the social aspect of things, and so they limit their window. And so it's very difficult, it's very challenging for them to understand why you need to be out with your friends all the time. And so that can create some tension and some stress in any relationship. So can D's and I's stay in a long-term relationship? Well, I'm an I, and I've been married to my wife now for 24 years. So it can be done, but it takes a great deal of self-awareness. So how do we increase that self-awareness if we're a D or an I? Or if we are an S or a C, how do we help our significant other get that self-awareness? Well, it comes from taking a personality assessment. Now, hear me out, yes, I do sell these. But if you understand yourself, you're going to understand better how to communicate with that D or that I if you're an S and C. And you create conversations. Relationships are built on candid conversations. Being honest with your person that you're with, letting them know your feelings. And sometimes it's more difficult to do that. For D's and C's, they're not feely people. They're more thinky people. And so, again, you won't know that until you take an assessment. I've got a link below in the description that gives you all the assessments you could ever want for yourself, kids, child, spouse, whomever. You use them for workplace. All those things are great, but you won't get that self-awareness until you have an assessment. That is an objective tool. Use that tool today, and you'll be better off. See you in the next video.